Hello everyone, how are you? Today I'm going to be showing my 2024 Airgun Collection. I'm going to be doing a little series of these, updating it sort of every year. Also making some other videos, shooting them. If you see any gun on this list that you really like and you want me to talk about in more detail, show in more detail, or shoot individual ones, please let me know down below. Also, please let me know anything you think I could add to my collection. I'd really appreciate that as well, because I need some ideas. I do mainly collect sort of air guns and air pistols, but I do go down the airsoft route as well if there's a really nice collectible piece. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is my 2024 Airgun Collection. Alright, so it's probably worth mentioning before I start, I am taking all these guns out and cleaning them as I go. It gives me a good opportunity to, hence the gloves. But I thought we might as well start with the pistols. So the first one I'm going to be starting with is the Glock 17 Gen 4. This is actually the pistol that I started with before I bought any air rifle, any air pistol. I started with the Glock 17. It is very popular. It is fully licensed by Glock. You can see all over the pistol. Efficiency license. It has an ejectable, I believe, 18 round magazine. I love this thing to death, and I have used it to death. I would say thousands of rounds through it and very little issues. It has an extremely nice trigger pull. You can see it's got that traditional Glock safety. There's the wall there. This is the reset right there. So absolutely wonderful trigger, amazing blowback, loud enough. You don't really need to go much louder than this. You have a rail down here for potential attachments. I have played around with this in the past, but I mean, it's Glock 17, in my opinion. It does look amazing, just completely plain. You've got the safety on the rear of the pistol there, and the traditional sort of Glock sights down there. It's not the most accurate thing in the world, but do you expect it to be? It does its job very well. The only issues I have had is a little while ago, more so when I first bought it, I had a bit of a leaky magazine, but it ended up sort of fixing itself, and I was uneducated in how to take care of my air pistols and air guns, so that was probably the reason for that. It is fully field strippable. Just like the real thing. I love taking this thing apart and cleaning it. Obviously back here, I have used it to death, like I said, so sometimes it doesn't lock back on open, but often it does, sometimes it doesn't. Not that major of an issue for me, considering how much I've used and abused this thing. So yeah, Glock 17 Gen 4. All right, next up, this is a big boy. This is my Dan Wesson 715. This is the 6-inch version in chrome. I did try to get it in smoky chrome, but they had it out of stock at that time. This is a very nice revolver. It was the first revolver I bought. You see the Dan Wesson logo there. 357 Magnum. All the other details on there. This is an extremely well-functioning pistol. It is, like I said, the 6-inch version. It has a long barrel. That means that the projectile is going to pick up slightly more velocity as it leaves the barrel. It is a powerful thing. It is an extremely loud thing. If you fire this in a closed room, you will blow your eardrums. You've got, this is the BB version, so you've got these, sort of not make a mess, you've got these shells here. They are front loading, so not rear loading shells. Rear loading shells, again, will have that slightly more velocity of the shell. But these front loading ones do just fine. Yeah, the most powerful BB gun I have shoots those steel BBs out like it's a feather. It is single and double action. And it has very accurate sights. This thing goes exactly where you're shooting, no questions asked. Yeah, it does have the shells in here, easily loadable, very realistic, very fun. It has, if you take the grip apart, you can see it has your little Allen or hex key hidden inside the grip, so there's none of that to lose. CO2 just slots in there and tighten it up. And no issues with this thing so far. I'd say probably 500 rounds through this. CO2 lasts forever, especially considering, you know, sort of the power output on this thing. Only thing I would say is there's a bit of hammer bounce, as you can see. When that hammer strikes, it is bouncing a little. You can also hear it. But with the sound of the gun when you're actually firing it, that's no problem, because yeah, it's pretty quiet compared to the actual sound of the gun. So yeah, ASG Dan Weston 715. All right, next up is a very special one. This is the KLI Pit Viper, or sometimes they call it the Night Viper. This is indeed the pistol from John Wick 4, the movie. I love this thing. It's not the fully licensed version from Taran Tactical. I know they do have airsoft versions of that. I did choose to go down the airgun route for this one. Yeah, it has, I mean, it looks beautiful. Like in real life, in real steel versions, this is the sort of Ferrari of handguns. You've got this rose gold in a barrel, rose gold hammer. As you can see, it's been abused down there. Lovely, lovely trigger. I believe it's sort of skeletonized. Ejectable magazine, not as realistic as the Glock. CO2 does go in there. I have had this magazine leak. I will be honest with you. I do still love this thing. Leaky magazines are often easy to fix if you have a sort of decent shop around you, which I do, thankfully. So shout out to them, because I get all my guns from there mostly. It has this compensator on the end. Again, for the realism, I believe it looks very, very nice. It has the night sights at the front. I mean, you can like pick this thing up and aim and be on target very, very quickly with that. It's field strippable, just like the real thing. Lasers or lights going down here. I'm thinking about playing around, maybe putting a laser down there. This thing is decently accurate. It's very loud, very, very smooth blowback. Sort of aggressive, but still extremely smooth. I mean, this slide just moves like butter, like nothing can stop it. Always locks open after last shot. Extremely nice trigger pull. £1 or £2 trigger pull. Nice grip, nice stippling on the grip. Of course, you've got your beaver tail, your rear safety. Yeah, completely field strippable like the real thing. It is a bit of a process, to be honest, compared to something like the Glock or some of the other ones coming up. But you can still get inside and clean it nonetheless. So yeah, this is the Pit Viper. All right, we are changing course a little bit with this one. This is the Smith & Wesson M&P 45. This is obviously a replica of the military and police pistol chambered in 45 ACP. This is by Umarex, and to be honest, this was a letdown. I bought this because it was available absolutely nowhere. One popped up, and I thought, why not? Took it home. Was very disappointed, to be honest. I'll start with the things I like. I like the grip. The grip stippling feels very nice. Very, very nice. You get a good grip on this thing. I also like the grip because it's so easy to put the CO2 in. You sort of just take it apart there, slot it in there, and tighten it there. I mean, it doesn't get much more simple than that, but unfortunately, that's where this thing ends. It is not field strippable. I have not bothered to clean it. It's got decent sights, I guess. Orange sights. They stand out a bit. Easy to pick up, especially in low light situations. It does not have blowback. This is a pellet pistol. So uses 177 pellets. I do like pellet pistols because I sort of like to play around with ammo and stuff like that, see the damage and the wound channels. But yeah, this isn't it. This is a bit like those sort of Beretta style ones. It is single or dual action. Dual action there, or single action if you pull back the rear of the slide. Yeah, so it's manageable in single action, but obviously you have to pull back the slide every time. If you want to just use dual action the whole time, I'm not joking, over 10-pound trigger pull. It is the hardest trigger to pull. When I thought I'd broken it or something when I first tried to fire it. Absolutely unbelievable. Like, I'm applying so much force right now, and it only just breaks. Crazy. This bit slots open. You have your classic Umarex 8-round rotary magazine. Takes a while to load. CO2 lasts a while. You'll be out in the garden trying to fire this thing for over 30 minutes just to get through one CO2. Yeah, I like to just take my pistols and just fire. With this one, you can't really do that. It takes time to load these. It takes time to shoot. It's loud. It's powerful. It's accurate. Sure. But overall, I'm more of a fan of the more blowback style guns, but it's still a decent one to have in the collection. That's one more thing I should note. The safety does not work at all. You can put it on safe or on fire, and this thing will fire no matter what. So the safety is completely non-functional. I don't know if it was intended to be that way or if not, but yeah, bit of a letdown. Smith & Wesson M&P 45. On to another one I love. This one I bought when it was around a lot. You now can barely find them anywhere. This is the 6 Hour M17. Again, this is not a Umarex build, but it works well. It does work well. It does have good function. I really like the color. I bought it as my second pistol because it is, you know, the US military's sidearm, and I thought that was very cool. It's replica to an extent, you know. It has decent licensing on it, slide serrations. You got your sort of standard sights there, a bit like the Glock ones. You do have a plate here for MOS. It does come MOS. In the real steel version, unfortunately not available on this one. It has, this is a pellet. This is a pellet gun. Has a bit of a weird magazine. I like the extended and I like the grip, but the magazine looks like an e-cigarette. You've got your CO2 goes in there, so it is simple. You just slot it in, push that up in one motion, and the CO2 will be pierced. 6 Hour 20-round pellet magazine. These are good fun. You know, they take a little bit to load, but you know, it's not as slow as sort of the Smith & Wesson one. Yeah, it does. The trigger is a bit grindy. You sort of, because the trigger's doing all the work, sort of rotating that magazine. It does have blowback, and it's an aggressive blowback at that. It's the most aggressive blowback of a pistol that I have. Sort of firing the first magazine out of a CO2, the muzzle rise will be very much like a real firearm. Safety on the outer, not sure how I feel about that. It does function, of course, and it is nice. Yeah, like I said, the trigger is grindy. Got that there. The reset's not until up there, so sort of rapid firing is a bit limited with this. You do need to wait for that to reset for it to turn the belt for you to fire the next pellet. One thing I do love about this is how easy it is to fill strip. Literally just like that, slide completely comes off. You have access to all the internals. You have to screw some bits and stuff like that, but very, very easy. I'm a big fan of this one. I did have an issue where I got pellets stuck in the barrel, but that was simply fault of my own. Don't fire it when it's low on CO2. It doesn't really like it. Don't put weird pellets through it, and this thing will last you for years and years and years. So yeah, 6 Hour M17. Right, so getting on to some more exotic stuff now. As of right now, this is my most recently purchased gun. This is the Colt Single Action Army. This is the Smoke Wagon. So it's limited edition. It is, you know, very, very realistic to the real firearm. This in limited edition is number 177 of 1200, which I think is pretty cool because it's chambered in 177 pellets and it's number 177, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's single action only. Very nice gold hammer, gold trigger. You can see only single action. You try and pull the trigger up there, no double action at all. Unlike the Dan Weston that I was showing earlier, this does not sort of, you can't really pull the pellets out, sorry, the shells out and load them. This one functions on sort of flip out system, and then you're going to pop each pellet in there. Or if you want extra realism, you can just tip them out one by one. You have these nice little silver shells. They are rear loading. This is a pellet, not a BB revolver, so this does pick up some power. Fairly long barrel. Rear loading shells, even more time for velocity to pick up. I was expecting it to be louder than it was, which is good or bad depending on how you look at it. It's quite quiet. It is very accurate if you look down the sights, which is the funny thing I've found with lots of these revolvers, that they are very accurate, more so than the ones you would believe to be accurate. Yeah, it's pushing out a bit more power. It doesn't have to use any of the gas to any sort of blowback function like some of the others. Yeah, the grip comes apart once again. You've got your hex key in there, CO2 goes in there. Tighten it up in there and you are good to go. So yeah, no issues with this so far. Not many rounds through it though, I will say. This is a limited edition, of course, so I do, on these sort of rarer ones, I do tend to use them less. Yeah, you got the ace on the grip there. Nice white sort of pearly grips. I'm a big fan. You can't quite see in the light, but they're nice. So yeah, you have safety on the bottom there. Very stiff, so no kids can play around with it. Very nice revolver. All right, now this is something really special. This cost me a lot. As you can see, this is the D-Day 1911. It's the 78th anniversary of D-Day. And yeah, wow is this a pistol. It is airsoft, it is not an air gun, so those of you that are angry at me now, I'm sorry. It is airsoft, but simply I couldn't avoid this when I saw it in the shop as a collector. I don't fire it that much because it's so expensive, because it's so rare. So I don't mind it being airsoft. It has all the functions. Comes in this beautiful case. Yeah, take a look at that. Up here you can't quite see, I'm not going to move the camera, but it has a big history lesson on the Normandy landings, with a picture if you're very interested. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love how they made it very historic and didn't just make it all about the gun. Starting with the ammo, I guess. It comes with what is that, seven shells of actual 45 ACP, just with the firing pin removed. You can even hear, I'll try and, they have gunpowder in them. So yeah, that caught my eye especially. Yeah, nice little 45 ACPs in there. Onto the actual pistol. Obviously it comes in this red case with cutouts. Case is a bit dirty, so I apologize for that. This looks bad in the light even though I just polished it. Yeah, I mean, wow, this is gold and silver mainly. You got the date of D-Day on there, 78th anniversary. Parachutes, tanks, eagle. Very amazing design and engraving. Operation Overload D-Day on there. Fantastic. 78 down there for the 78th anniversary. Move this case out of the way. Yeah, I mean, it's a classic 1911 style, classic 1911 sights, classic 1911 hammer. Has an ejectable golden magazine, get that. Obviously 6mm BBs. This is an airsoft gun. I do have various different gases, but to be safe, I just put green gas through it. This is from G&G Armament. Nice hammer. I mean, this thing locks open on empty. I do have gas in it right now, so I can show you, because it's always good to store green gas in your green gas pistols when you're storing them. Slide release there. So yeah, I mean, it's not the most powerful. Obviously, airsoft is going to travel slower than a steel BB from an airgun projectile, but it's accurate, it's loud, it has a kick. Genuinely, it has a kick. You have beautiful wooden grips here. Feel very, very nice and look lovely too. Yeah, this is, I don't know how many of these there are. Not many in the UK, that is for sure. But this is a beautiful piece. Like I said, if there are any airsoft pieces that I see that are really nice, or I just want to pick up, I will. I'm not restricted to just air guns. I do not mind. I do not play airsoft. I used to. I don't play anymore. I would not take this thing to a field, since it only holds about 1 magazine worth of BBs in green gas. So it's not very functional, wouldn't be very effective, and I wouldn't want to risk getting it dirty. So yeah, I'd never bring this to a field, but I mean, yeah, like 100, 150 rounds through this thing, that's it. Most of them were on the first day I got it. But boy, oh boy, this is just like eye candy to look at. Beautiful trigger. Obviously, you've got your lock open there. Yeah, D-Day, 1911. Right, moving on to rifles. It must be noted before I start that I am from the UK, I live in the UK, and therefore all the rifles you will see are at or below the 12 foot-pound limit, because that's the legal limit. So yeah, they don't allow us to have fun over here, so the power is not going to be the same if you're from the US or something like that. So I do enjoy collecting them nonetheless. They get the job done. But yeah, this one is the Remington Tyrant. This is the first air gun I ever bought, air rifle, sorry. It is cheap, it is on the budget end. It is not the Tyrant Tactical, it is the Tyrant. It is equipped with a 3-9 Hawk scope, very, very clear, lovely, cheap budget, about £70 scope. It has a synthetic polymer body, a extended moderator on the end. However, this is just part of the barrel. This is a 177 caliber break barrel, full power rifle. So yeah, I decided to go with a slightly lighter caliber. You really only have 22 or 177 over here, occasionally .20. So yeah, I went for the lighter caliber. This thing kicks. The projectile travels fast. I don't hunt anymore. I used to hunt. This did it. You know, this got the job done. It's powerful enough. It's decently accurate. It's not the best thing you're ever going to see. My advice would be is if you're starting with a budget, particularly a break barrel, buy a couple of different types of pellets and do some accuracy testing and find the one that it really likes. This one in particular likes its JSBs. Yeah, I mean, it's been used and abused, almost, I think, 2,000 rounds through it now, which is a lot for a break barrel. I mean, functioning just fine, although these things are made to last for years. It's not the most comfortable rifle, but yeah, it's a fantastic starting point, and I'm very glad I started with it. All right, so this is another break barrel. This is the Viroc HW50S limited edition, celebrating their 125 years. I mean, wow, where do I even start with this? This thing is absolutely beautiful. It's a break barrel. I went for it in 22 caliber. Felt unique like that. You got this beautiful red laminate stock. I mean, this thing is durable as well. It doesn't scratch. It looks amazing. Fully adjustable match trigger. Haven't adjusted it. It is fantastic out of the box. As you can see, this is number 123 of 900. So another special limited edition there. Is a break barrel. I don't have a scope on it because I wasn't planning to use it for any specific sort of target work or pest control or anything like that. I just really like the way it looks. However, I've shot it through these iron sights. They are adjustable for windage and elevation. I have not adjusted them. They are I mean, straight on, like out the box, fired at a target, boom, bullseye. This thing is, and I mean, it hit the bullseye every time. For a break barrel, this thing's accuracy is amazing. I mean, what more would you expect from Viroc? So yeah, I have not stuck a scope on it. I don't know if I will in the future. I may. It has a safety up here that engages every time you cock the barrel. So, you know, always extra safety features here. Lovely trigger guard, lovely trigger pull out of the box. I mean, not much more you can say about this thing. It's beautiful. It is my least fired rifle for obvious reasons, but I love it nonetheless. Right, next up we have a PCP. This was the first step up I took in sort of the airgun air rifle world, and still to this day is the most expensive I bought. So yeah, I don't have any crazy high-end air rifles. Maybe in the future, but gosh, do they get expensive. But I mean, unless you're looking for anything particular or extremely special, this is a phenomenal rifle. I mean, in the UK you can get many sort of bundles with this rifle, with pumps and pellets and bags and etc. But yeah, this is the Gamma Fox. It comes with 3-9 camo scope on it. I've kept the 3-9 camo scope on it. I don't have any problems. I don't have a ginormous garden. I have a pretty big garden, but for me a 3-9 is all right. I have hunted with this. I do not hunt anymore. As I said, I don't enjoy it. But even then it gets the job done. I mean, this is a 22 caliber. It is a bolt action rifle. Fairly stiff bolt, but you know, you're sure when you've done it. You've got these, you know, your normal 10 round red 22 magazines. It's a PCP, so you do fill it up. It comes with a moderator on it. It's a bit messed up right now. Just fell off the wall, but yeah, that quietens it down a lot. I won't lie. Without the suppressor on, this thing is loud. With it on, you can get multi-shot kills if that's what you're after. You got a nice stock down here, nice and comfortable. Cheek pad for your rest. You've also got the filler probe, which is underneath here. You do have, my one complaint would be that you do have the gauge to check your pressure down the barrel end of the rifle, of course, which can be dangerous in certain scenarios and does lead to deaths, unfortunately. However, always make sure you're very safe. Empty magazine, safety on, magazine out, no bolt cocked, etc. when you're looking at that gauge. These, even at the UK power limit, these things aren't things to mess around with. You need to take care of them. You need to treat them with respect, because they are dangerous and they do kill hundreds of people a year. So yeah, I mean, it's a bit, yeah, it's roughed up, I know, difficult to clean these sort of stippled parts, but I just love using this. I mean, it has no recoil, it has barely any sound to it, but gosh, is this thing accurate? I mean, that sort of, you could fire this thing up to like 60-70 meters and have a like 2-3 MOA grouping. I mean, even further than that. Like, I've shot this thing to past 100 meters and on large targets still had impact. Yes, not hit bullseyes and stuff like that, but you can still have impacts even in the 22 caliber. Yeah, the 3-9 Gamma scope could be nicer. I wanted to exchange my Hawk one, but I like this easy mount rail, so I kept it. I probably will upgrade this scope in the future to maybe 3-15, sort of something like that, 3-16, 4-16. I do like the Hawk scopes. It has, you know, in front of the trigger, you got your safety there, which I do feel like is a bit of a weird place to put it, because if you go to sort of pull the safety back to put it on safe and you get confused with the trigger, then you could pull the trigger by accident. Yeah, again, this thing loves JSBs. It fires Stratton jumbos all through the same hole at 20 meters. No problems whatsoever. Fantastic. This is a gun that lasts for years, it functions for years, and no complaints whatsoever from me. All right, moving on to the more sort of military replica style rifles. This is not a full power rifle. This is a CO2 powered BB gun. This is the Crosman R1 semi-auto. In other countries you can get it in full auto. Unfortunately not here, they don't allow us to have fun. But I mean, like, over any airsoft gun I've ever used, ever fired, ever owned, this tops realism to a whole new level. And I've decked this out with so many attachments. I mean, where do I even start? It has an adjustable 6-stage adjustable stock. I haven't put a sight on it because the flip up iron sights are accurate as anything. They're a bit hard to see through, but more accurate than I could get my hollow scope sort of zeroed in at. Although it does look nice with a hollow on, but I don't have it on there for now. Switch up the attachments whenever I feel like it. Nice little pistol grip, nothing special. Decent trigger. I have upgraded the magazine. It comes with a normal, I believe, sort of 23 round magazine. This is a 300 round magazine. It has the normal 23, 25 round spring loaded in there, but it takes in here 300 BBs, and then all you have to do is pull this back, give it a little shake, and you're loaded up again. And I mean, you can burn through your two CO2s in no time. This thing's powerful. I mean, like, I know it's still BB, I know it's CO2, but it's still not something to mess around with. This is a powerful gun. That projectile, I mean, it hits the target like that. Nice mag release. You've got your, obviously, rail for all your attachments that you could ever need. You've got your bolt release, your safety, full auto switch, which doesn't work. Your bolt, it's been lubed up a lot, so don't mind that. I mean, opens up in there, bolt release, and ready to go. Take it off safe would help. This is the trigger, so not bad. Yeah. Lovely piece of kit. I have a Magpul grip on the front, just because holding it like this was slightly uncomfortable, so I like to get a bit more stability. You can see I also have a flashlight on the front. This was originally on my Glock 17, but I took it off and put it on here. I love just shooting this thing at night. I don't know what it is. This flashlight is extremely powerful in the dark, and shooting it at night is just the most fun I've ever had. I've also put on a suppressor. This doesn't silence the gun in any way, but this is the, gosh, what is this? This is a tracer unit, actually. I have it firing orange tracers right now, so it creates a sort of muzzle flash. It also is a mist tracer unit, so it uses mist gas or mist water, sorry, and mist or smoke will come out the end of the barrel, just like a real firearm, and it looks amazing. And I like the way that this looks on the end of the barrel, as opposed to just the normal little muzzle that comes. It looks so much better. And yeah, I love the way I've done this whole thing. This is just complete love and joy. I mean, it's so fun to shoot. It's not that pricey, and the amount of fun you get out of it is just, I mean, wow. Yeah, not for any hunting or anything like that, but this is a good one to go for. I know there is the SBR also, which is very similar, but I went for the R1 on this one. So yeah. Right, last but certainly not least, in fact this is probably my favorite of the rifles. This is a masterpiece right here. This is the Colt M4 chambered in 5.56. No, I'm just kidding. This is the Colt M4 carbine chambered in 177 pellet. This is a pretty recent purchase for me, so it hasn't been used a ridiculous amount, but it is very good. It is another Humarex build. Starting in the back, it has another 6-piece adjustable stock, just to fit how you like it. Few dummy parts, few working parts. You have your AR-15 style grip, you have your lovely trigger, your safe, and your fire selector down here. Magazine ejector, functional dummy magazine. As you can see, I've put the rounds in there. They're just some in a 5.56. Flipping over, it does have a dummy charging handle, ejection port, etc. As for the handguard, these do come off. You do have your standard AR-15 style rails for flashlights, grips, etc. Anything that you'd like. I've kept them on. I may change my mind in the future. Right now, I've kept them on. I do kind of like the way it looks. You see the 5.56 NATO down on the barrel here. You've got the muzzle on the very end. Unfortunately, this is not removable. You cannot put a suppressor on it. And for some people that may be an issue, because this is a loud boy. This is very, very loud and very powerful. Out the box, it takes at least 500 rounds to break it in before it's below that sort of UK power limit, which obviously is a necessity to do as soon as you can. I've had to remove the rear sight. However, the front sight is not removable, so I have bought a rail mount riser, and then I have put on a, God, what was this scope called? I can't remember. This is a 3x scope. It has a blue dot, red dot, and green dot, however you'd like. Flip ups. Yeah, full. I'm not using it for any crazy target work. It's accurate, but not competition accurate. I have guns that I use for more long range stuff, so for me this was absolutely fine. This is kicking out some serious power. It's got some serious recoil behind it. I have fired real 5.56. Boy, single shot only, I mean, it is close. Like, it is dangerously close. This, yeah, it's amazing. It smokes out the barrel when you fire it. Boy, this is a fantastic gun here, and I have absolutely loved it so far. Alright, so that being it, I just want to thank you guys so much for getting to the end and for watching. As I said at the beginning, please let me know if there's anything that you think that I should add to my collection, any suggestions. I would love to hear it. Any your thoughts about my collection, any more videos you want to see, video ideas, shooting ideas, any more guns that you saw here that you want to see in more detail, any guns here you want to see fired, anything like that. Please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it. Stay safe, keep your guns safe, keep your guns clean, take care of them, and have a lovely day.